Hello and welcome to our next installment on the Orbit Reader 20. Today we're going to look at the Orbit Reader 20 and how it's used with the Chromebook. Full disclosure, I'm not completely as familiar with use of the Chromebook in general and ChromeVox as I am with other devices. But what I'm going to be able to show you today is how to hook up your Orbit Reader to the Chromebook and some different commands that are emulation commands. Then we'll talk about that a little bit later, and maybe a couple of tips that I've been able to find out about how this works. So the first thing we need to do is the Orbit Reader needs to be physically connected to the Chromebook. And in order to get the Orbit Reader to recognize the Chromebook or that it's connected, what we need to do is we need to put it into HID mode. And to do that, we're going to do it with a space, 7 and .2. And it's going to pop up and it's going to say remote HID. This is where I can physically connect my device. So I'm going to come on in here and pull it from, just physically plug her in. Okay, here we go. And there, now it seems, okay, it says settings. So that must be where my ChromeVox cursor is set. Very well. Okay. So it is being recognized. Because my ChromeVox was already turned on, it didn't turn on my ChromeVox, but according to the directions, if it were turned off, when the Orbit is connected, it would turn it on. So I haven't tested that theory, but if you would like to, feel free to do that. So now that we're connected, there's some things that you need to know. The first thing you need to know is that there are various key combinations that work with the Chromebook, such as Alt Control, Shift Alt, Escape, all of those. All of those have specific emulator keys that are typed into the Orbit. Excuse me. So those commands are typed into the Orbit, but usually how you know you have it with, let's see, like a Alt Control S, you would do the Alt Control emulator command, then lift your fingers and then type an S. So you can't use all of those commands together. It's a two punch command, I guess, for lack of a better thought. For example, and if you'll excuse me, I do have some notes here that I'll be referring to because, again, I'm not as familiar with this device, and I think it's important to get everything correct if I'm going to be sharing it. So for example, if I'm doing instead of Control and forward key to navigate to the system tray, we're going to use a space with the dots 3, 6, 7, and that simulates the Alt Shift. So I'm going to do space 3, 6, 7, and that's Alt Shift, and then I'm going to do an S to space for it to go to the system tray. And as you can hear, I'm in this tray.
Battery is 97% full.
Okay.
Dialogue.
Awesome. So
Plus space to activate.
okay. So now I'm in this area, and in order to navigate it, I can just use my
Braille keyboard.
my up and down search arrow keys.
Accessibility connected to
Okay.
WCBVI guest.
There we go. So this goes through my system tray.
Space to activate.
It's the same way as you're navigating the rest of the device. The rest of the emulator keys are as follows. We have the Control key, which is space with dots 2 and 5. The Shift key is space with dots 3 and 7. The Control key is the Control Shift key, excuse me, is space with dots 2, 5, and 7. The Alt Shift is space with 3, 6, and 7. The backspace is a space with dot 7. The tab is a space with dots 3, 5. Escape is a space with dots 1, 3, 5, 6, which is a Z. And the enter is a space with a dot 8. So those are all the emulator keys that are available. If you are uncomfortable using the emulator keys, I would suggest just learning 1 or 2 at a time, the most common ones that you use. And for the rest of the time, reach up and use your keyboard and use the keys that you're used to. It's all about what is most comfortable and most useful for you. If you want to learn those emulator keys, I certainly encourage it. It can't hurt. The more you keep your hands on your display and reading with the display, the faster you will get. So that is my one tip for you as far as that goes. The other thing to keep in mind is that these kinds of things may change over time. As we all know, there are lots of updates to Chrome OS over time, and it's very possible that things will evolve. Because of that, I've included some links in the description that will hopefully help you out. As I said before, this is mainly about how to functionally use your Orbit reader with the Chromebook and not necessarily how to use the Chromebook itself. There are several very good tutorials and resources about using the Chromebook with the Orbit. So I would encourage you to look those up as well. As always, if you have questions, you can always contact me using my contact information that's located in the video. You can post a comment. I can't guarantee that I'll know the answer right off the top of my head, and in fact, I can pretty much guarantee that I won't, but I can certainly look it up and figure it out and get back to you on it. So, best of luck to you as you get to start using your Orbit reader with your Chromebook.